I still remember the countless afternoons I spent with Grandma Aurora, sitting on her porch, surrounded by the gentle rustle of leaves and the sweet scent of blooming flowers. Her eyes, a radiant blue reminiscent of a summer sky at its clearest, would sparkle as she shared stories of her life, of love, of loss, and of laughter. Her hugs were like a warm blanket on a cold winter's night, enveloping me in a sense of comfort and security that I never found anywhere else. To me, Grandma Aurora was an open book, her life a testament to the power of love, resilience, and joy. But life has a way of surprising us, doesn't it? Sometimes, it takes a single moment to shatter our perceptions, to reveal that there's so much more beneath the surface than we ever could have imagined. For me, that moment came on a crisp autumn day, as I stood in Grandma Aurora's now empty house, surrounded by the echoes of memories we had created together. The silence was almost deafening, a stark contrast to the vibrant life that once pulsed through these rooms. As I wandered through the house, my fingers trailing over the familiar contours of furniture and photographs, I found myself in her study. It was a room that had always been off-limits, a sanctuary where Grandma Aurora would retreat to write, read, or simply sit in contemplation. And it was there, tucked away in an old wooden box that had been collecting dust in the corner of her desk, that I stumbled upon something that would change everything. The box itself was unassuming, its wood worn smooth by the touch of countless hands over the years. But as I lifted the lid, a faint scent of lavender wafted out, carrying with it whispers of the past. Inside, nestled among yellowed letters and faded photographs, lay a small, leather-bound diary. The cover was worn, its edges frayed, and the pages within were yellowed with age. It was as if time itself had been waiting patiently for me to uncover this secret, to unravel the threads of a story that had been hidden for so long. As I opened the diary, a sense of trepidation washed over me. What secrets lay hidden within these pages? What stories would Grandma Aurora tell me now, if only I could hear her voice? The entries began on a day in 1945, a time of great turmoil, as the world struggled to heal from the wounds of war. And yet, amidst the chaos, Grandma Aurora's words painted a picture of hope, of love that defied boundaries, and of a sacrifice that would echo through generations. The more I read, the more I realized that my perception of Grandma Aurora, of her life and her loves, was about to be turned upside down. This diary was more than just a collection of words on paper, it was a key to a world I had never known existed. A world of forbidden love, of hidden treasures, and of a legacy that had been kept secret for far too long. Over the coming hours, I'll share with you the story of Grandma Aurora's hidden diary, a tale of love, loss, and the enduring power of the human spirit. It's a story that spans decades, continents, and hearts, weaving a narrative that I hope will touch yours deeply. So, let's begin this journey together, as we uncover the secrets that Grandma Aurora kept hidden for so long, and discover the extraordinary life behind the eyes that sparkled like the summer sky. The pages of this diary are worn, but the story they tell is timeless. It's a story about the choices we make, the loves we risk, and the legacies we leave behind. As I read through these entries, now yellowed with age, I'm reminded that our lives are woven together by threads of love, sacrifice, and memory. And it's with this realization that we embark on a journey to understand the woman I thought I knew, but whose story was, until now, a secret. The creak of the old wooden floorboards beneath my feet seems to echo the beat of my heart, as if the house itself is urging me to continue. The air is thick with anticipation, heavy with the weight of secrets waiting to be unveiled. With each turn of the page, I feel Grandma Aurora's presence around me, guiding me through the twists and turns of her story. It's as if she's whispering in my ear, "It's time, dear one. It's time you knew the truth." And so, with her voice in my heart, I'll share with you the story of Grandma Aurora's life, a story that will take us through the shadows of history, into the light of love, and back again. It's a journey I invite you to join me on, as we explore the depths of the human experience, and the incredible life of a woman who, until now, was an enigma, even to those who loved her most. The memories of Willow Creek still linger vividly in my mind, like the sweet scent of blooming wildflowers on a warm summer breeze. It's a small, quiet town, nestled in the heart of rural America, where time seems to stand still. The sun rises over the rolling hills, casting a golden glow over the rustic landscape, and sets slowly, painting the sky with hues of crimson and orange. The air is alive with the songs of birds, the rustling of leaves, and the distant rumble of a tractor chugging along the dirt roads. In this serene setting, I grew up surrounded by the people and places I loved. My family, the Smiths, were hard-working farmers, tilling the land and reaping its bounty. My parents, John and Emily, were the epitome of kindness and dedication, their love for each other and their children evident in every gentle word and warm smile. My older brother, Thomas, was a dreamer, with a passion for flying that seemed to soar as high as the planes he'd often watch in the distance. And then there was Lily, my younger sister, with a poetic soul and a heart full of wonder. Our days were dictated by nature's rhythm. We'd rise with the sun to help with the morning chores, the dew-kissed fields glistening like a canvas of diamonds. School was a short walk away, and I'd often carry a book with me, devouring its contents during recess or right after class. The world beyond Willow Creek seemed vast and mysterious, full of stories waiting to be told. I'd get lost in the pages of those books, imagining a life beyond our little town. As I grew older, my love for reading only deepened, and I began to write my own stories, scribbling in a small notebook I kept hidden under my bed. My parents encouraged my creativity, but I could sense a hint of practicality in their voices, a gentle reminder that life in Willow Creek was simple, and our place in it was clear. Yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to life than the familiar routines of our little town. Thomas, ever the optimist, would regale us with tales of his flying dreams, of soaring through the skies and touching the clouds. Lily would listen, her eyes wide with excitement, and I'd feel a pang of, not exactly jealousy, but perhaps a longing to experience the world beyond our little corner of it. Our evenings were spent gathered around the radio, listening to news of a world far beyond our borders, where storm clouds were gathering. Despite the tranquility of our lives, I sensed an undercurrent of restlessness within myself, a yearning for something more. It wasn't dissatisfaction, exactly. Willow Creek was a beautiful place to grow up, but a sense that there were stories waiting for me, beyond the horizon. My parents, wise and kind as they were, seemed to embody the very fabric of our community, and I admired their strength and resilience. As night fell, we'd sit on the porch, watching the stars twinkle to life, and I'd feel the vastness of the universe stretching out before me like an endless sea. The world was at peace, or so it seemed, but I couldn't help but wonder what lay beyond the boundaries of our little town, what secrets the future held, and what lay hidden in the hearts of those I loved. Those were the days when life's complexities seemed distant, and love, in all its forms, seemed simple and pure. Little did I know, the storms of life were gathering on the horizon, and our quiet existence would soon be tested in ways we could hardly imagine. Yet, even in the calm, I felt an inexplicable sense of foreboding, a whisper that the serenity of Willow Creek was but a fragile veneer, hiding depths and secrets that would one day be revealed. As the summer of 1942 drew to a close, the warmth of the sun began to wane, casting long shadows across the quiet streets of Willow Creek. The air was alive with the sweet scent of ripe corn and the distant hum of cicadas, a soothing serenade that had lulled the town into a false sense of security. But amidst the peaceful landscape, whispers of a far-off war began to seep into our little corner of the world. At first, it was just rumors and speculation, faint murmurs carried on the wind. News of European tensions, of Nazism and fascist regimes, seemed like distant thunder, a storm brewing on the horizon. My parents, John and Emily, would gather around the radio in the evenings, their faces etched with concern as they listened to the news broadcasts. My brothers, Thomas and Lily, would try to make sense of it all, Thomas bursting with excitement at the prospect of adventure, while Lily would cling to my mother's side, sensing the unease. Aurora, my grandmother, was no exception. She would sit on the porch, her eyes gazing out at the rolling hills, her mind 1,000 miles away. I remember the way her brow would furrow, her lips pursed in a mixture of worry and determination. She was beginning to realize that the world was not as simple, as just, as she had once believed. One evening, as the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, a stranger arrived in Willow Creek. He was a young man, dressed in a military uniform, his eyes a deep shade of brown that seemed to hold a world of secrets. I recall the way he walked into our lives, like a whispered promise, his presence both captivating and unnerving. Elias, he would later tell us, was his name. He had a way of moving that was both confident and guarded, as if he were perpetually on the lookout for something or someone. His eyes locked onto Aurora's, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still. I was not yet born, but my mother would later describe the spark that flew between them, a spark that would ignite a flame that would change the course of our lives forever. As Elias settled into our small town, it became clear that he was different from the other local boys. There was an air of mystery surrounding him, a sense that he was hiding something. Aurora, with her romantic dreams and idealistic heart, was drawn to him like a moth to a flame. I imagine her wondering what secrets lay behind those piercing eyes, what stories he might tell if only he would. The nights grew cooler, the wind carrying the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. The radio broadcasts grew more frequent, the news more dire. We were no longer just a small town in America, we were part of a world torn apart by conflict and chaos. And in the midst of it all, Aurora and Elias found themselves bound together by threads of fate, their love a beacon of hope in a world gone mad. But as their bond grew stronger, the shadows deepened, and the dangers that lurked in the darkness began to stir. Elias's past, like his eyes, seemed to hold secrets, secrets that would put them both in harm's way. I can almost hear the sound of crickets chirping, the rustle of leaves, as the night air vibrated with an undercurrent of tension. It was as if the very fabric of our lives was about to be torn apart, revealing a hidden truth that would change everything. And yet, in that moment, amidst the encroaching darkness, there was a sense of possibility, of a love that would dare to defy the odds, to brave the unknown, and to seek out a truth that would set them free. In the stillness of that summer evening, as the stars shone bright above, I sensed that our lives were about to become entwined with the threads of history, that the tranquility of our little town was about to be shattered by the drums of war. And at the heart of it all, a young love would blossom, a love that would be tested by the trials of a world torn apart. As the summer of '42 wore on, the warmth of the sun-baked days seemed to intensify the emotions that swirled within Aurora. Her heart, once a tranquil lake, had become a turbulent sea, stirred by the presence of Elias. Their secret meetings, once a rare and precious solace, now became a necessity, a lifeline that buoyed her up against the gathering storm. In the old barn, hidden behind a tangle of overgrown vines and sunflowers that seemed to lean in, as if to listen, they would steal away to share whispers and glances. The air was thick with the scent of hay and the sweet, heady aroma of blooming flowers. Elias's eyes, like a deep, still pool, drew her in, offering a refuge from the turmoil that churned outside. Their love blossomed in these stolen moments, a flame that flickered with every kiss, every touch. But the world outside was not so serene. The war's shadow lengthened, casting a dark presence over Willow Creek. Strangers appeared, their faces neutral, yet their eyes seemed to bore into the very soul of the town. They asked questions, subtle and insistent, about a young man with piercing eyes and a mysterious past. The townsfolk, once friendly and open, grew tight-lipped, their smiles faltering. Elias, once a man with a clear purpose, now seemed haunted. His revelation came on a night heavy with stars, as they sat on the edge of the sunflower field, the flowers towering above them like sentinels. He told her of his true identity, of his life as a German scientist, and his desperate desertion. The artifact, a powerful encryption device, was his reason for being in Willow Creek. He had to find it, to keep it from those who would misuse its power. Aurora listened, her heart pounding in her chest, as the world she thought she knew began to tilt on its axis. She saw the fear and the determination etched on Elias's face, and her love for him surged, becoming a shield she wanted to raise against the encroaching darkness. The days turned into a blur of secret meetings and furtive glances. Nazi agents, masquerading as civilians, began to appear in the town, their eyes cold and calculating. They asked questions, seemingly innocuous, yet laced with an undercurrent of menace. The townsfolk grew wary, their smiles now tinged with fear. It was during one of these clandestine meetings, in the dimly lit passage beneath the old church, that Elias revealed the artifact's hiding place. An ancient labyrinth, hidden away by his mentor, a clockmaker with a genius for secrets, held the device. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and age as they navigated the narrow passages, their lantern casting eerie shadows on the walls. Aurora felt her transformation, a gradual unfolding of courage and determination. She was no longer just a passive observer, she was now an active participant in Elias's perilous mission. The diary, once a repository of her innermost thoughts, became a confidant, a silent witness to her fears and her burgeoning strength. As they explored the labyrinth, the sound of dripping water and the creaking of old stones seemed to echo with the weight of their decision. The artifact, a small, intricately crafted device, lay nestled in a bed of velvet, its surface etched with symbols that seemed to shimmer in the lantern light. Aurora's hand, as she reached for the device, felt a jolt of electricity. This was it, the moment of truth. She glanced at Elias, his eyes locked on hers, a silent understanding passing between them. They were in this together, bound by love and a shared purpose. But as they emerged from the labyrinth, the world above seemed to have shifted. The sun, once a warm embrace, now cast long shadows, like skeletal fingers reaching out to snatch them back. The diary, now a tangible link to her journey, seemed to weigh heavier in her hands, its pages whispering secrets and warnings. The stakes had escalated, the danger now a palpable presence that wrapped itself around their lives. Yet, in the midst of this encroaching darkness, their love had become a beacon, a flame that burned brighter with every step into the unknown. Aurora knew that she had to make a choice, to stand by Elias, to stand for their love, and to face whatever lay ahead, armed with nothing but her heart and her growing courage. As I recall the events that transpired in the depths of that labyrinthine passage, my heart still swells with a mix of emotions, sorrow, admiration, and a deep sense of loss. It was as if the very walls of the underground chamber were witness to the climax of a tale that would forever alter the course of my life and that of my beloved grandmother, Aurora. The air was heavy with anticipation as Aurora and Elias navigated the final puzzles left by the ingenious clockmaker. Every step echoed through the narrow corridors, a reminder that time was of the essence. The scent of damp earth and the faint hint of old dust filled their nostrils, a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing within them. Their hands moved in tandem, fingers brushing against each other as they worked to unlock the last chamber. The sound of dripping water seemed to synchronize with the beating of their hearts, each drop a countdown to their discovery. And then, suddenly, the walls gave way to a hidden room, revealing an artifact that seemed to radiate an otherworldly glow. It was as if they had stumbled upon a piece of history, a relic that could change the course of the war. But their moment of triumph was short-lived. The sound of footsteps, heavy and deliberate, echoed through the passages, growing louder with each passing second. Nazi agents, disguised as local civilians, had finally tracked them down. Panic set in, a cold dread that seeped into their bones. Elias's eyes locked onto Aurora's, a flash of fear and determination. Without a word, they knew what had to be done. The ensuing battle was chaotic, a blur of gunshots and screams. Aurora's knowledge of the labyrinth proved invaluable, as she led Elias through narrow passages and hidden doors, evading their pursuers. But the agents were relentless, driven by a zealot's fervor. As they fought, the labyrinth seemed to close in around them, the walls pressing in on their shoulders. Elias took a bullet, a cry of pain escaping his lips. Aurora's world crumbled around her, she felt as if she was drowning in a sea of despair. Yet, even in the midst of such chaos, Elias's love for her shone bright. With his last ounce of strength, he grasped her hand, his eyes burning with an unspoken message. "Aurora, you must go," he whispered, his voice barely audible over the din of battle. "Take it, take the artifact. It's our only hope. I trust you, my love. You are the keeper of our legacy." As Elias's grip weakened, Aurora felt a searing pain, as if her heart was being torn from her chest. She knew, in that moment, she had to let him go. The thought was a knife to her soul, but she steeled herself, a resolve forming within her. With a final glance, she took the artifact, her fingers closing around it like a lifeline. The darkness seemed to swallow her whole as she fled, the silence a stark contrast to the chaos she had left behind. The artifact felt heavy in her arms, a bittersweet reminder of Elias's sacrifice. Tears streamed down her face, her breath coming in ragged gasps. She stumbled, her legs trembling beneath her, but she pushed on, driven by a newfound purpose. In the distance, the sound of gunfire faded, replaced by the soft rustling of her clothes and the beating of her heart. Aurora's thoughts swirled, a maelstrom of emotions. Grief, anger, and determination wrestled within her, each voice demanding attention. But as she walked, the weight of the artifact and the memory of Elias's sacrifice began to crystallize her resolve. She knew that she had to see this through, to honor Elias's memory and ensure the artifact did not fall into the wrong hands. The labyrinth, once a prison, had become a crucible, testing the mettle of their love and resolve. As Aurora emerged into the cool night air, she felt the weight of her mission settling upon her shoulders. The stars above twinkled like diamonds scattered across the velvet expanse, a reminder of the infinite possibilities and challenges that lay ahead. In that moment, the diary that would become my inheritance began to take shape, a testament to the enduring power of love and sacrifice. The entries would speak of Elias, of their time together, and of the artifact's significance. But most importantly, they would chronicle Aurora's journey, a story of loss, courage, and the unyielding commitment to a cause greater than herself. The silence of the night enveloped her, a shroud of solitude that would accompany her on the long journey ahead. And yet, even in the darkness, there was a sense of peace, a knowledge that Elias's love would continue to guide her, illuminating the path forward, no matter how treacherous it might become. As I emerged from the labyrinth, the darkness of the night swallowed me whole, like a shroud cast over the world. The rain lashed down, stinging my skin and soaking through my clothes, but I hardly felt it. My heart was numb, weighed down by the crushing grief that threatened to consume me. Elias was gone. The thought echoed through my mind like a scream in a void, a hollow reverberation that left me breathless and shattered. The walk back home was a blur, my feet carrying me forward on autopilot while my mind reeled with the memories of what had just transpired. The artifact, now a bittersweet reminder of Elias's sacrifice, felt heavy in my hands, its significance and power a double-edged sword. I couldn't help but wonder if I was ready to bear this burden, to shoulder the responsibility that came with it. As I pushed open the creaky door, a warm light spilled out, bathing me in its golden glow. The familiar scent of cooking and fresh-baked bread enveloped me, a jarring contrast to the cold, dark reality I'd left behind. My family, oblivious to the turmoil brewing inside me, welcomed me with concerned smiles and open arms. "Aurora, dear, you're soaked to the bone," my mother exclaimed, helping me out of my wet coat. "What happened? You look like you've seen a ghost." I forced a weak smile, the words catching in my throat. I just got lost in the labyrinth. I didn't mean to worry anyone." Their faces etched with worry, they helped me into dry clothes and a warm cup of tea, but I couldn't shake off the feeling of isolation. The secret I'd now inherited felt like a physical weight, pressing down on me, making every step, every breath, a struggle. In the quiet of my room, I allowed myself to crumble. The diary, Elias's diary, became my sole confidant, a tangible connection to the love we'd shared and the mission he'd entrusted to me. I opened it, and the words, penned in his familiar handwriting, brought tears streaming down my face. The pain was a living, breathing thing, a constant reminder of what I'd lost. The days that followed were a haze of public deception. To my family and friends, Elias's death was an accident, a tragic event that shook our small community. I played my part, a melancholy but composed Aurora, all the while hiding the truth, the depth of my grief, and the weight of the artifact. As I navigated the routines of daily life, I couldn't help but feel like an imposter, a stranger in my own home. My parents and siblings noticed the change in me, the distant look in my eyes, but they couldn't fathom the depth of my sorrow. I'd become a master of hiding, of concealing the turmoil that churned inside. But as the silence of night enveloped me, I allowed myself to feel. The diary became my guide, a beacon in the darkness. Elias's words, his thoughts, and his love for me shone like a light, illuminating the path ahead. I began to study the artifact, poring over Elias's notes, seeking to understand its purpose and the legacy he'd left behind. The local library became my refuge, a sanctuary where I could lose myself in books and research. I devoured texts on cryptography, history, and science, driven by a newfound determination to honor Elias's memory. The artifact, once a symbol of loss, now represented a challenge, a mission that required my dedication and courage. As I sat at a wooden table, surrounded by stacks of dusty tomes, I felt Elias's presence around me. His eyes seemed to see into mine, urging me forward, his love and sacrifice fueling my resolve. The rain pattered against the library's windows, a somber melody that accompanied my journey into the unknown. In those moments, I began to understand the true extent of Elias's gift. The artifact was more than a relic, it was a key to unlocking the secrets of the past and forging a new future. I knew that I had a long and difficult road ahead, but with Elias's diary as my guide, I felt a sense of purpose taking root. The weight of my grief would always be a part of me, but it was in those quiet moments, surrounded by books and the whispers of the past, that I started to find my strength. The memories of Elias and our time together would stay with me, a bittersweet reminder of what I'd lost and what I'd gained, a mission, a purpose, and a chance to make a difference in a world torn apart by war and destruction. As I left Willow Creek, the familiar streets and homes faded into the distance, like a watercolor painting left out in the rain. I felt a pang of sadness, knowing I might never return. The thought of continuing Elias's mission, of keeping his memory alive, propelled me forward. I settled in a modest apartment in a larger city, a place where anonymity was a luxury I could afford. The sounds of the city, the hum of trams, the chatter of pedestrians, the wail of sirens in the distance, were a cacophony that both overwhelmed and comforted me. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. My routine became a blur of research and learning. I spent hours poring over books on cryptography, scouring libraries and archives for any mention of the artifact. Elias's diary was my constant companion, guiding me through the labyrinth of codes and ciphers. I consulted experts discreetly, careful not to arouse suspicion. The artifact, I began to understand, was more than a simple encryption device. It was a powerful tool for intelligence, capable of deciphering enemy codes and predicting strategic movements. As I immersed myself in my studies, I noticed a transformation within myself. I developed skills in observation, discretion, and counterintelligence, becoming a self-taught agent driven by necessity and my promise to Elias. I recall one particular instance when I deciphered a coded message from a seemingly innocuous letter. The thrill of accomplishment was exhilarating, and I felt Elias's presence, as if he were smiling down on me. I learned to be vigilant, to notice the way people moved, their body language, and the way they interacted with others. I practiced subtly evading surveillance, losing myself in crowds, and gathering information in public settings. A chance encounter at a train station, where I identified a suspicious individual, reinforced the constant peril I faced. My heart racing, I blended into the crowd, the artifact's safety secured, but my sense of unease lingering. The Nazi threat was still present, agents actively searching for the artifact, forcing me to remain constantly aware of the danger. I couldn't let my guard down, not even for a moment. The weight of my secret life bore down on me, but I found solace in the quiet moments, surrounded by books and papers, Elias's diary a comforting presence. As I navigated this new world, I began to see the city in a different light. The bustling streets, once overwhelming, became a network of paths to explore, of secrets to uncover. I found beauty in the mundane, the smell of freshly brewed coffee, the sound of raindrops on the pavement, the feel of worn pages turning. These small joys sustained me, reminding me that there was still beauty in a world torn apart by war. In the evenings, as I sat in my modest apartment, surrounded by the trappings of my research, I felt Elias's presence. I would talk to him, sharing my discoveries, my fears, and my doubts. The diary, now a tangible connection to him, became a bridge between the past and the present. I knew I was not just fighting for a cause, I was fighting for us, for the love we shared, and the future we had envisioned. The journey ahead was fraught with uncertainty, but I was no longer the same young woman who had left Willow Creek. I had grown, transformed by my experiences, and I was determined to see this through. The artifact, now a symbol of Elias's legacy, was a reminder of the power of love and sacrifice. I would carry his memory with me, using it to fuel my actions, as I navigated the shadows of war, ever vigilant, always ready. As the war raged on, Aurora's determination only grew stronger. With the artifact in hand, she joined a secret network of codebreakers and intelligence agents, working tirelessly to decipher enemy communications and transmit crucial information to the Allied forces. Her nights were filled with the sound of typing on worn keyboards, the scratch of pens on paper, and the occasional ring of a telephone, signaling a message from a trusted contact. The artifact, once a mysterious burden, had become a powerful tool in her hands. Aurora's work was instrumental in frustrating enemy plans, disrupting supply chains, and paving the way for strategic victories. She remembered the countless nights she spent poring over coded messages, her mind racing with the possibilities, as she worked to unravel the secrets hidden within. The sound of radio broadcasts, the murmur of voices in hushed tones, and the occasional burst of static filled the airwaves, as the Allies began to gain ground. Aurora's heart swelled with pride and relief as she listened to the news of the war's progression. Her contribution, though small in the grand scheme, felt monumental to her. And then, one day, it was over. The war finally came to an end, bringing with it a sense of relief, a sense of peace. Aurora felt the weight of her mission lifting, like a physical burden being removed from her shoulders. She took a deep breath, letting the silence wash over her, as she gazed out at the world, newly reborn. In the aftermath, Aurora sought a new beginning. She left the city, with its noise and chaos, and returned to Willow Creek, the small town where her journey had begun. The familiar streets, the gentle creek, and the surrounding woods welcomed her back with open arms. She settled into a cozy little house on the outskirts of town, surrounded by the peace and quiet she craved. As she looked around, Aurora realized that her experiences had given her a new purpose. She dedicated herself to helping others, using her skills to support war-affected families and educate young people about the importance of peace and understanding. Her home became a haven for those seeking refuge, a place where stories were shared, and laughter echoed through the halls. The artifact, once a symbol of danger and uncertainty, had become a cherished reminder of Elias and their love. Aurora carefully placed it in a beautiful music box, its delicate patterns and soft, golden glow a testament to the past. The music box sat on a quiet shelf, a bittersweet reminder of the journey that had brought her to this place of peace. Years passed, and Aurora grew into the wise, loving grandmother the narrator knew. Her eyes, once bright with a fire of rebellion, had mellowed into a warm, gentle flame. Her laughter was a soothing balm, her stories a window into a world of wonder and courage. As she sat on her porch, watching children play in the garden, Aurora felt a deep sense of satisfaction. The narrator, now grown, looked back on their childhood with newfound understanding. They realized that Grandma Aurora's seemingly simple life had been built upon extraordinary experiences and profound sacrifices. The diary, once a secret keeper, had become a bridge to the past, a testament to the enduring power of love and sacrifice. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm orange glow over the garden, Aurora's granddaughter sat beside her, listening with wide eyes to the tales of a lifetime. The narrator's heart swelled with love and appreciation for this woman, who had lived a life of courage, resilience, and devotion. In those quiet moments, as the world slowed its pace, Aurora's story became a reflection of the human spirit, a testament to the transformative power of love, sacrifice, and the choices we make in the face of uncertainty. The music box, with its delicate patterns and soft, golden glow, sat quietly in the background, a reminder of the journey that had brought them to this place of peace, this place of remembrance. The years went by, and the narrator grew older, but the lessons learned from Grandma Aurora's stories remained etched in their heart. They remembered the way she smiled, the way her eyes sparkled when she talked about Elias, and the way her voice seemed to carry the weight of 1,000 untold stories. As the narrator looked back, they realized that Grandma Aurora's legacy was not just a story of war and sacrifice but a testament to the human spirit's capacity for love, forgiveness, and redemption. Her life had been a canvas, painted with vibrant colors of courage, resilience, and devotion. The narrator felt grateful to have known her, to have been a part of her world, and to have inherited the stories that would continue to inspire generations to come. In the stillness of the evening, as the stars began to twinkle in the sky, Aurora's granddaughter leaned over and hugged her tightly. Thank you, Grandma, she whispered, her voice barely audible over the sound of crickets and the distant hum of a car driving by. Aurora smiled, her eyes shining with tears, and wrapped her arms around her granddaughter, holding her close. In that moment, the narrator knew that Grandma Aurora's story would live on, a reminder of the power of love, sacrifice, and the choices we make in the face of uncertainty. The music box, with its soft, golden glow, seemed to whisper a gentle melody, a lullaby of peace, as the world slowed its pace, and the heart found its home. As I sit here, surrounded by the familiar comforts of my grandmother's house, I find myself lost in the pages of her hidden diary. The worn leather cover, adorned with a delicate silver lock, seems to whisper secrets to me, drawing me into a world of love, sacrifice, and resilience. The diary is more than just a historical record, it's a map to Aurora's soul, a window into the depths of her heart. I recall the countless afternoons I spent on her veranda, listening to tales of fairies and heroes, of magical realms and daring quests. At the time, I thought they were just stories, meant to entertain and educate. But now, I realize that those fantastical tales were metaphors for her own extraordinary life, a heroic journey that she lived in silence. The diary has become a Rosetta Stone, decoding the hidden meanings behind her words, and revealing the complexity of her character. Aurora's legacy is not just the artifact, nor is it merely her secrets. It's the silent strength that defined her, the wisdom she shared through her stories, and the unconditional love that she showered upon me. It's the intricate tapestry of her life, woven with threads of courage, heartache, and triumph. As I reflect on her journey, I see the parallels between her struggles and my own. The same fears, the same doubts, the same desires. The diary has given me a deeper understanding of life and courage. It's shown me that even in the darkest moments, there is always hope, always a choice to be made. Aurora's story has become my own, a reminder that I, too, can face the challenges that come my way. The emotional catharsis I've experienced is indescribable. It's as if the weight of her secrets, now revealed, has lifted from my shoulders. As I look back on Aurora's life, I realize that her true legacy lies not in the artifact or the secrets she kept, but in the way she lived her life. She embodied the power of love, of sacrifice, and of the human spirit. Her story is a testament to the transformative power of these values, a reminder that our choices, our actions, and our love can change the course of history. The diary has become a personal treasure, a guide that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. It's a reminder to look for the hidden stories, to dig deeper into the lives of those who came before me, and to share my own stories with the world. Aurora's example has inspired me to live more intentionally, to cherish the moments, and to honor the memories that shape me. As I close the diary, I feel a sense of peace settle over me. The room around me fades into the background, and I'm transported to a place of profound understanding. I see Aurora's face, her eyes sparkling with a deep wisdom, and I know that she's with me, guiding me still. The music in my heart, a melody of love and loss, swells to a crescendo, and I feel the tears streaming down my face. In this moment, I understand that our stories are the bridges that connect us, across generations, across time, and across the vast expanse of human experience. Aurora's story has become a part of me, a reminder of the enduring power of love and sacrifice. As I look directly at you, I want you to know that you, too, have a story to tell, a story that can inspire, heal, and connect you to those around you. Don't let your stories remain hidden, share them with the world. Let them be a beacon of hope, a testament to the human spirit, and a reminder of the transformative power of love and sacrifice. As I finish sharing Aurora's story, I hope that you'll find the courage to uncover your own hidden narratives, to cherish them, and to share them with the world. For in doing so, you'll not only honor the memories that shape you but also become a part of the greater tapestry of human experience. As I sit here, surrounded by the warmth of memories, I'm reminded of the incredible journey we've shared. Grandma Aurora's story, hidden within the pages of her secret diary, has unfolded before us like a tapestry woven with threads of love, sacrifice, and resilience. Her life, a testament to the human spirit, has shown us that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope, always a choice to be made, and always a chance to leave a lasting impact. We began with the tranquility of Willow Creek, a small town nestled in the heart of America, where the rhythms of nature and the pulse of community defined everyday life. But as the war clouds gathered, the serenity of this haven was shattered, and the lives of its residents were forever changed. Amidst this turmoil, Aurora's story emerged, a tale of forbidden love, hidden legacies, and the unyielding pursuit of what is right. Through her eyes, we witnessed the transformation from a young woman, bound by the conventions of her time, to a beacon of strength and courage, willing to risk everything for the one she loved. Elias, the enigmatic stranger, ignited a flame within her, a flame that would guide her through the shadows of war and into the light of a new dawn. Together, they navigated the treacherous landscape of espionage and deception, their love becoming a north star that directed their actions. But their story didn't end with the closing of the diary. It continues, echoing through the years, touching hearts and inspiring souls. If this tale has resonated with you, if you felt the sting of love and loss, or the thrill of discovery and courage, then I know that Grandma Aurora's story has fulfilled its purpose. It lives on through you, in the choices you make, and the stories you tell. As we conclude this chapter, I invite you to take a moment to reflect on the journey we've shared. What lessons have you gleaned from Aurora's life? How can you apply the courage, the love, and the resilience she's shown us to your own path? On-screen graphic, share your thoughts, please. Take a moment to leave your thoughts in the comments below. What secret do you think Grandma Aurora held dearest to her heart? Your reflections are a vital part of this story, a continuation of the legacy we've uncovered. On-screen graphic, like, subscribe, and share. If you've been moved by Grandma Aurora's story, I encourage you to like this video, to subscribe to our channel for more tales of inspiration and courage, and to share this story with those who might find solace and strength in its message. On-screen graphic, a montage of key moments from Aurora's story begins. As the music swells, I'm reminded of the power of storytelling. It's a bridge that connects us, a window that opens into the depths of the human experience. Grandma Aurora's story will stay with you, a gentle whisper in the winds of time, urging you to live more intentionally, to love more deeply, and to face the challenges of your own life with courage and hope. On-screen graphic, a final shot of the narrator, looking directly at the camera, and so, as we close this chapter, I'm left with one final thought. What will you do with the secrets you've uncovered here today? Will you let them fade like whispers in the wind, or will you carry them forward, into the light of a new dawn? The choice, much like the diary itself, is yours to make. The music fades out, and the screen goes to black. In the silence that follows, I hope you'll find the courage to write your own story, one that's filled with love, sacrifice, and the resilience to overcome any obstacle. For in doing so, you'll not only honor the legacy of Grandma Aurora but also become a beacon of hope for those who come after you. The video ends with a final on-screen graphic. Thanks for watching.